Okay, so we're doing this. I'm going to look at the camera and try not to say every 5 seconds. So, hi, hello, my name's Morgan, and this is the booktube newbie tag. So this tag is 11 questions, and I'll just talk a bit about me and the books I like to read, and plans for this channel, and that kind of thing. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I think like most people doing this tag, it's kind of mostly to talk to other people and talk about my own opinions about books. I've lurked on booktube for years and years, so it's kind of always been in the back of my mind that I could have a channel. So yeah, I'm kind of treating it as an experiment to see if I like it, and if I don't enjoy it, then obviously I can stop doing it and I can stop wondering, oh, what would it be like if I had a channel. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to booktube? So like I said, it's kind of an experiment, so I don't want to give myself too much to do or to set really high expectations at the moment. I just want to see if I enjoy making videos and not really put much pressure on myself to make the most amazing, unique content at the moment. And you know, it'll be unique because it's me and the books that I'm reading, which will obviously be different to everyone else. Question number 3 is, what are you most excited about with this new channel? Like I've already said, it's that kind of talking to people more and also being able to talk more about the books that I read. I really want to use it as a chance to read more deeply and really think about the books that I'm reading, spend more time with them. And weirdly, I'm also really excited to learn how to edit video. I'm sure it'll be a huge learning curve when I go to edit this, but I'm quite excited to see if I enjoy that again. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? This is kind of an obvious one, but I'd say escapism mostly for fiction and learning new things for non-fiction. The best thing about reading for me is when I get completely lost in a book, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, and just spend hours and hours reading. Question number 5 is, what books or series got you into reading? I think, like most people, there are loads, and I've probably forgot some, but the ones I could think of off the top of my head were Jacqueline Wilson, who I had so many of her books. I had a whole shelf that was just Jacqueline Wilson as a kid. Also, the Narnia books were given to me as a kid, and I loved those. They were kind of my first fantasy series. And Peter Pan as well is another one that I remember just reading over and over again. Question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? I think the main one is, how do you do this and it not feel incredibly awkward? How long does that take? Because yeah, at the moment, you can probably tell I don't really know what I'm doing. Other than that, I'd probably just ask for really niche book recommendations. Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Same again really, just getting used to talking to a camera and it feeling natural and not kind of shrinking into my chair a bit and finding it really weird to talk to a camera. I did have a YouTube channel back in the day, like over 10 years ago now, which is wild, but it has been a while, so yeah. And then I guess the other big challenge is learning all the technical side, teaching myself how to edit. So presumably if you are someone watching this, I did it. I learned how to edit this video and it's now out in the world. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? Kind of can't remember again. I just was always at the library as a kid, or you know, someone was always reading to me. And I did read a lot through school, but then kind of fell off when I went to university. So it was really in 2020 with everything that happened that really got me back into reading, and since then I've been reading way more than I ever did. And probably booktube also helped with that. I was suddenly watching lots and lots of videos about people reading. It got me really excited about books again, which is part of why I want to join in that conversation. Question number 9 is, where do you read? This is probably a really boring answer, but mostly on my bed or my sofa. I also try to read on my commute, so on the tube in London. And if we're talking audiobooks as well, then I read all the time while, you know, running errands, going to the shops, etc. All that boring stuff. I usually have an audiobook with me then. Question number 10, and basically the main one, is, what kind of books do you like to read? I'd say I read quite broadly. It's usually a pretty even split on fiction and non-fiction, and quite broadly within both of those separately, because, you know, they're not actually genres. Fiction-wise, it's mostly fantasy, but saying that, my top genre last year was middle grade, so who really knows what happened there? I think part of it is I read a series of unfortunate events, so maybe if I counted that as one book, it wouldn't have been my top genre, but, you know. And for non-fiction, I read mostly kind of politics, sociology, environment, also memoir, science, kind of anything with non-fiction. I will give anything a go. And the final question is, what does your book collection look like? So hopefully, if I've shot this right, you can see it behind me. And I arrange it by rainbow order, and I also split it into read and unread on the bigger shelves. So from the top 2 shelves, it's books I haven't read yet, and then when it gets to white, it goes into books I have read, and back down to purple. And the smaller shelf is series, all my Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett, and you know, books that didn't fit anywhere else, basically. So that was the booktube newbie tag. I have so much imposter syndrome even filming this. Thank you so much for watching. If you found and watched this video, that's really weird to think about at the moment, that someone might actually watch this. Please do say hello in the comments if you're watching. It's nice to not talk into the void. Yeah, definitely let me know as well if you're a booktuber as well. If you've just started, that would be great. I'd love to know if there's other people just starting out and figuring this all out, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to film some stuff about my 2022 reading, like my stats and favourites and all that kind of good stuff. They'll have a bit more about my kind of reading taste and everything like that. But this was just a little intro. You can also find me at Reading at the Museum on Instagram. I'm really bad at remembering to post there, but it does exist, so I thought I'd mention it anyway. And yeah, I have no idea how to end this now, so thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time, hopefully. Bye.